Hello.
Fuck.
This.
Movie.
Oh! Points for the good guys.
Historical fucking moment, guys.
We
You
are
just
recording
witnessed
though,
it.
right?
It'll
We caught it. We
never
caught it on
happen
tape.
again.
It never happened again.
Wow.
All right, here we are. Another episode.
It is another
Doing
episode.
the thing.
I am one of your movie fuckers. I'm Dustin Holler.
Movie fuckers. Tender fucker or hard fucker? How? What's the nature of the fucking of these movies that you're talking about?
It's a gentle fuck this time.
Gentle fuck.
Yeah. To my right, we have award-winning artist and movie fucker John Brown.
Hello, it's me.
And then to my left, we have award-winning window person
Window person.
and movie fucker Reese Anweiler.
That's me.
And we're gonna talk about some shit.
We are.
I fuck movies every which way but loose. You know.
Yeah.
Every which way but loose.
Yeah.
Gentle, hard, exotically. I don't know what that exactly means, but I'm sure we can figure something out.
Passionately. So what have you guys been watching? Anything?
I have pretty much been just watching The Fall of the House of Usher.
Fuck yeah.
It has been my last week's watch.
Yeah, I need to get on that.
But heads up, I feel this way. I think this is gonna be a pretty low energy episode.
Well, that's not good. We're gonna change that shit right now.
No, I'm not saying it's gonna be bad.
Just take some shots.
You know, or maybe the whole time we're gonna be like tonguing like this, man.
No, we're not doing that. Fuck you, Reese. We're not doing that.
Fall of the House of Usher. Keep talking about it.
Yeah, it's fucking fantastic. Definitely. So my favorite of that dude's work has been the first series that he did, which was the
Haunting of Hill House,
which
yeah.
I thought was fucking immaculate. I didn't get through the second, and I missed the third thing that he did. The second felt
Second one's trash.
I won't say that because I didn't watch enough
Is it that guy
of it.
that did the second one, or is it somebody else that did it?
No,
He actually did it.
He did it. I don't think it's trash.
The
It's
Bly
just
Manor-
very
the-
different.
The Bly Manor thing is completely.
I haven't. I didn't
I
get
felt
past
like
an
idiot
episode,
for watching the whole
so
thing. Like,
I won't go that hard on
it's
it. but-
it's boring as shit, dude. Like nothing happens.
This is definitely as good, maybe even a little bit better than the first series. I think.
And you still haven't seen Midnight Mass, right?
No, that's the one I missed. So
Yeah,
I
you might
have
just
to
have
watch
to
that.
keep the train rolling and watch
Yeah.
that one next. You'll like it.
I mean, that's high praise in my book. I love The Haunting of Hill House. I
It's
think
as good
I
as
think
that
it's
for
pretty
sure.
flawless.
I think Fall of the House of Usher is his best.
It's
so far.
fantastic,
I
and it's
love
such
it.
an interesting way to use Poe literature.
Yeah.
How it's done is really well put together. It's really well written. Performances are fantastic across the board. It's so fucking satisfying every bit of the way through. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much was it for me. I think was there anything else really? I don't fucking think so. It's pretty much just been that all week. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, I definitely say check it out. The guy that plays the Roderick Usher, I don't remember his name.
No, the lead though.
The lead, yeah, basically. I think it's his. He's never been super memorable in anything else. I think that I've ever seen him in. He's not been. I don't remember him being bad or like he's not a guy I've ever been like fuck this dude. He's not good. But there's never been anything that really struck me. But I think his performance in this is super fucking.
I'm trying to get his name real quick.
Okay.
Bruce Greenwood. Yeah, Bruce
Yeah,
Greenwood.
okay, yeah.
Bruce Greenwood. Okay.
Yeah, it's killer
He's really good.
performance there.
I had heard he wasn't going to be Roderick. I think Roderick was going to be. Shit. No, god damn it. I had the name, now it's gone. Roderick was a completely different actor, and they even started filming and got some way through it. And I think the other guy did some shitty thing on set or something, basically got canceled and fired mid-season. And so they had to do a ton of reshoots with with Bruce Greenwood as his character instead.
Interesting.
And I think he did great. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, really. Like after
other
seeing
actor.
it, I couldn't think anybody else doing it. It was very perfect casting.
Oh, it was Frank Langella. Frank Langella was going to be the lead, and that happened. That happened.
What else we got, Reese?
Yeah, I'm sure you
I
probably
know
watched
you've
a
seen a
little bit
bunch
more.
of shit.
Yeah, I haven't seen like a ton, but I think almost everything I've seen is worth talking about. So
Okay.
Let's do
I
it.
watched
Talk about shit.
finally. This has been on my watch list for like over a decade. David Bowie's film, "The Man Who Fell to Earth."
Okay.
Super weird, not
I-
really at all what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Kind of, I mean, extremely trippy, very like not chronologically shot or anything. You just kind of have to guess what's going on for a decent amount of the movie.
That doesn't sound annoying at all.
But it had some really wild moments. Dustin and I, did a double feature along with my friend Dan. We saw The Holdovers
Okay.
with Paul Giamatti. I loved it. Dan also loved it.
I thought it was just okay.
Yeah.
Just okay?
It's like it's a good movie. Like it's really well done. I don't have anything like super negative to say other than it's not a very original premise. I mean,
Right.
like I immediately like as I was watching it, I'm like, this feels like I'm watching Son of a Woman.
Yeah.
And afterwards, like I watched the whole movie conclusion. It's like that movie just kind of feels like a new rendition of A Son of a Woman. So I don't know.
Original premises are getting harder to.
Yeah, and that's
Fine.
always been true and always
know.
will be true. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the more shit people think of, that's less space to think of new shit. So
I saw Napoleon.
I bet it was terrible. Like I have a feeling it's terrible.
It was not good. If you have like an interest in like super high budget period pieces, I'd say it's worth watching.
My problem is that I kind of feel like Ridley Scott is now in a spot where he's incapable of making something that I give a shit about.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean,
Yeah.
See, like the last two times he ventured into sci-fi, I thought it's like okay, he can still make a decent movie because I like Prometheus
Yeah.
oh, Prometheus, I thought was
Yeah.
fantastic.
and I liked The Martian. You know,
we're a ways away from Prometheus though.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
that
that's
was a
been-
grip
that's
ago.
been like
I
10
forgot The
years
Martian
ago.
was.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to give him that. The Martian was actually a great film.
Yeah.
and did he do Alien Covenant or was that somebody else? No, yeah, he did Alien Covenant.
That's
too.
the one that I've missed.
And I actually
didn't
like
catch
that
that one yet.
I think it's you know if
These
you like
historical
Alien-
biopics had just not been heavy
No,
for him. Though.
no. I was even
Yeah.
looking back on some of the ones I've missed of the past like 20 years or so, and really the last time he had like notable movies that like can't miss. It's been like 2005 and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like American Gangster. I've heard is really good. I've not seen. Black Hawk Down. I've heard is really good, but I've not seen.
It's yeah. I think I remember it being a good movie, but it's kind of a vilification. Like it's not a very
it's
it's very much a vilification of brown
an,
people.
an
for
American war
It's-
film
it's-
from more than 10 years ago. So
Yeah,
America's
it's,
heroes.
sure. It's super dated for that time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also it's one of those like war films that's just here's a movie about a thing, and there's like they don't really give you any characters to like latch
No, it's
onto
just
and
it's just
root-
shit the whole time. It's just
yeah,
things happening and
yeah,
Yeah.
It's just like here's some action and some
Yeah.
And they
performances.
disguise it with like 30 actors that you recognize.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're watching a story unfold when you
Yeah.
watch it.
Nah,
You're just
watching an
uh,
event.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
there's a lot of
which is
screaming.
what it
probably.
is.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
no,
about
for
an
sure.
event, so that's fair. But
Yeah.
no, it definitely is very much like everyone, no matter what in Iraq, is going to fucking shoot at you. Is what you take away from that movie. And yeah,
Have either of you seen American Gangster?
I have not.
No, I
It's been on my
haven't
list
either.
for a minute.
So-
I don't know why I haven't seen it. It's pretty up my alley.
The last movie of his, besides sci-fi, the last movie of his that I would recommend that I've seen is literally The Duelist. That was his first film. Now, sci-fi, I think all of his sci-fi is good.
Yeah, I mean, I really,
The
really
Duelist,
dug.
which
It's Harvey Keitel. Everybody loves Harvey Keitel, and it's like it's a British period piece about duelists. It's
Okay.
really like super like low budget. I mean, it was his first movie, and the next
Yeah.
thing he did was Alien.
Right.
But like, I mean, okay, so Thelma and Louise. Sorry, I totally skipped over that. No, I love Thelma and Louise. White Squall I thought was okay. Gladiator I think is extremely overrated.
I think I haven't seen it in a long fucking time, but I really enjoyed it when I saw
I
it.
think Gladiator. I haven't seen it in a minute, but I think Gladiator is really good. And
Yeah.
I saw it, in the theater when it came out.
I would like to watch it again. That's been on my
I was
list.
actually about to start
Yeah.
watching it because I want to.
Yeah, I'd like to confirm because I remember just
more
thinking
Joaquin's
being
My,
very
my whole
satisfied
thought
with
of why I
that
thought
film.
Napoleon would suck is because I remembered the performance of Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator, which is honestly one of the best parts of Gladiator.
Oh yeah.
And I just thought, he's setting himself up for me to make comparisons between
Right. Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix playing two different historical figures, and
Right.
I didn't have a good feeling about it from the onset.
Yeah.
I thought he was really good as Napoleon, but
I
kind
have no
of
doubt he was good.
Yeah,
he was
he's
weirdly
fucking
underused.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a
Yeah.
Napoleon
I didn't think
movie.
he
I
would be
feel like
And he's
but-
underused. That's fucking weird. Yeah. That's
I didn't think he
fucked
would be underused, but I figured there would be issues such as
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's more about the setting that it is
Okay.
in the period than it is like Napoleon to
up.
me.
Really interesting.
And they kind of go a little bit into like some weird spaces I wasn't expecting with like Napoleon and his wife,
more personal shit.
which was like interesting because they had like a weird kinky, Josephine
Okay.
relationship, and so like there's interesting things you can go with that.
Yeah,
But they
that's
like
not-
just dip their toe in and then kind of go
Right.
back.
So
and
it's just distracting from the.
Yeah, it's very much
I
like
don't like that.
somebody
let's
told like Ridley five topics he had to cover, and he just
right.
couldn't pick one, so he just did all of them.
Yeah, yeah, which is unfortunate.
Let's get back to this double feature, because the second leg of this thing was a movie we talked about last week.
We don't even
Or
need to
last
say its
episode.
name. All we need to say is that it's the #1 greatest Thanksgiving movie of all time.
Yes, and that is true, according to something that we quoted last week. And the name of this film is Thanksgiving, which, makes sense.
Yeah.
It tracks.
So we actually watched the movie, and it is not the greatest Thanksgiving movie of all time.
No, I don't. I can't
Sorry,
even tell you what is, but it's not that one.
So, sorry we let some random article get you.
And it was a horror flick, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
So
no,
it's just
John,
slasher,
it's,
right?
super slasher.
It's I know what you did last
Yeah.
Scream.
Yeah.
Like that. It's that. It's like
Yeah. God, this
20-year-olds playing teens. The teens are like
the most
the
generic
heroes
thing
and
you could
also
do
the witless
ever.
victims of the carnage.
Yeah.
You
Where
know, it's-
all of the teenagers are extremely insufferable, except for the one lead girl who's
Well,
like a harmless victim.
So, the older you get, Reese, they all become fucking insufferable.
Just like there's literally got like some of the teenagers in her group are like literally committing crimes, and like we're like, I guess we're supposed to be excited when they start getting killed off, which
Yeah.
you do kind of.
I mean, I think that's like the core of the slasher flick is like the insufferable dipshits getting
Yeah.
killed. I think that's like what you look forward to
Yeah.
most of the time.
I just
Yeah.
like it when you like care about the characters more.
Yeah,
Like
no, you
how
should
they even
care
in
to
like
a
Cabin in the
degree,
Woods.
yeah.
I love.
I
how
felt
they
that
do
Thanksgiving was I know
Yeah.
what you did last.
Well, so that's the
summer.
interesting about
That's
Cabin
what
in the
I
Woods.
I know what you did last
is-
holiday break.
Yeah, it's
Cabin in the Woods, the characters like are actually not insufferable. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Like the thing that they're doing to these people makes them the
Yeah.
insufferable characters.
Actually, the movie literally is I know what you did that last Thanksgiving, because it takes place. There's a big horrific event on Thanksgiving, and then it's 1 year later.
Jesus Christ.
yeah, no, yeah, it is.
It's
It
one.
is.
I know what you did last
It's
Thanksgiving.
these films that I'm just like, who put up the money? Like, is it?
Oh,
Are we at this place?
Well,
where
somebody
we're
thought
really-
enough of it to put it.
There's-
I know.
There's-
Like, it's,
Yeah, there's a genre of movie that is sold on the title alone.
Yeah.
I mean, Cocaine Bear.
So-
you know?
I bet you that they will make like 12 of these Thanksgiving.
There's
Probably
the last
'cause it was
bit
probably successful.
of the dialogue between Roderick and Madeline Usher in the Fall of the House Usher kind of actually like talks about that, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it for Dustin because he needs to watch
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah,
Don't spoil it for me.
I won't. But there's like, when they're
that's what I actually really love. Like some of the like almost cheesy dialogue and speeches in that show. But I think the fact that it's, first of all, it's good writing, so it sells itself. But the
Yeah, it
fact
is.
that it's Poe
Yeah.
makes it, you can
No,
be
it's-
more cheesy
so-
and
well, you
like
get
dramatic.
what that show was like you have this sometimes arguably melodramatic delivery of stuff, but you get delivery of Poe's, you get really good delivery of Poe's prose within delivery of the fucking killer dialogue, some of the killer dialogue in the show. So it's just super good. But there's a lot of like social commentary in that show.
All right, well, you guys have sold me on it. So
Have you ever read Poe's writing
Yes.
on cops? Poe's Popo Pose.
no, that's not a thing.
Yeah,
But to answer the
Pros.
question that you were about to ask, yes,
Pose,
I've
Popo
read
Poe's Popo's
Fill
Pros.
in the blank.
Yeah, see, you're the Pope fan, and you're the
Yeah.
last one to watch this incredible show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard for me though because I like this is one I'm gonna watch alone, so it's like
Yeah.
Monty wouldn't watch it?
huh?
Monty wouldn't watch her, doesn't have the time.
I like
I feel like she
she's
would really dig it though.
I don't think she could watch House like. She's weird about horror films. Like there are some of them where she just doesn't feel, like
It gets
they
pretty-
fuck with her. She
pretty
can't sleep
scary.
afterwards, and
Yeah.
So basically,
does, yeah.
basically, I decided that the haunting a Hill House would have been too much, I think, and so I actually did try to get her to watch it, and she asked some people, and they're like, "No, don't."
Yeah,
And
there's
Yeah.
some like really
It
effective
is
scares.
actually
Yeah.
on the same level as that show.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, actually, one of the movies I was going to bring up today is one I watched today and earlier today.
Yeah.
Us.
First time.
Yeah, first time.
Nice.
It's the I've now watched all the Jordan Peele films, which there are only 3.
Is so man, I started watching that one. I didn't get more than the first scene. Because like that opening scene where it's like, oh, there's a family just standing outside. And the dad's like, oh, it's no big deal. It's whatever. Like, it's just some people. Like, I mean,
Did you finish
Yeah.
that scene? You didn't finish that scene.
no, I mean, I'm sure something happened. I didn't finish the scene, but I'm just
That's it.
saying.
I'm
like,
shutting it off.
You can't comment on this. You haven't. You have no
I'm just
information.
saying, no, I'm just saying it's like it's a ridiculous thing for any person in that situation to be like, oh, it's just whatever. It's perfectly normal. Like, there's no way that you see the silhouette of this nuclear family just standing inexplicably outside of your home in a fucking row, and you're like, it's all right. Like, no, that's just like, I'm sure it's a good film.
Well,
I'm sure it's a good
I
film,
mean,
but-
they weren't giving that definitively to the audience because literally every other member of the family was like,
no, I know.
she's on the phone like calling the police,
No,
and
and
he's just like,
yeah, no, I appreciated that the other family members were, but like the dad just being like, it's whatever.
I think
like,
that's a typical male reaction.
I would not.
Honestly,
I do.
Of that kind.
I'm not saying that's the way that you would
guess.
react or the way that
Yeah,
Reese would
yeah,
react
yeah.
or the way that I would
Sure,
react.
sure,
I mean,
sure.
I think it's the typical male
It's
reaction.
typical enough, yeah.
But
I'm sure
think,
it's a good film.
I think you actually have to, like, if you don't know how that scene ends, then like
I don't remember.
you
yeah.
stopped watching at that point
Okay.
and didn't continue.
Well,
because
I will finish
You
the
should
film.
see how that actual scene ends,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you'll immediately feel different about the movie. So.
No, I've definitely had like from his films that I've watched. I definitely have like again with Nope.
He's only got 3.
Yeah,
so-
Nope was the like body jackers, right?
Body
No,
check.
Get Out. Is
Get
the
Out
first
was
one.
okay.
Nope
Get Out
is
was
Aliens.
Get Out was the body jackers. I haven't seen Nope yet. Get Out, fucking
Yeah.
awesome film, great film. But I mean, like, I totally think there's no way that guy would have sat through all of that. Like, he would have just started walking at some point. Like, I can't imagine any black dude that would just be like, as soon as motherfuckers are like sizing him up and measuring him and like treating him like cattle. There's no black person.
He
that
does
would-
actually try to get out pretty soon after that, though.
Kind of.
Like,
he
he
like
can't
talks
even
to
find
his
the
girlfriend
keys.
and is like, "Oh no, honey, stay." And he's like, "I guess." No, I don't. That's really unrealistic too.
Yeah.
Again, great film, loved it by the end of it, but you know, it's crazy. But continue. I didn't mean to side
yeah.
rail.
Yeah, hijack with opinions about a movie you haven't seen yet. Anyway,
I was an opinion about a scene is all I had. I didn't have opinions about the film.
Yeah, you watched half the scene. You didn't even watch the whole scene.
I know. Yeah. I had
But
opinions
anyway,
based
having
on that.
watched all 3 of his films now, it's weird because I think that the most like prolific from people from outside sources, most people will tell you that Get Out is his best film. It's probably the highest rated on all the services and the IMDb's of the world and letterboxes and shit. But for me, I think my list right now, Nope is my favorite of his films. Get Out might actually, Us was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, honestly. Like, because most of the word I'd heard was it was kind of his worst film, and I really enjoyed it. It was much more of a horror film than the other 2.
Yes.
The other 2 were kind of more borderline sci-fi movies, I think, and this was like a true horror film.
Right on.
Yeah, Get Out had a lot more like campy, like Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
energy.
no, for sure.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Us though is that like the whole movie, I kept thinking that I knew where it was going, and it just never went where I thought it was going. Like
That's a great quality.
Yeah, there are enough turns where it's just like, oh, I wasn't expecting that, and it's like, okay. So, I don't know, like, I like Get Out, but it's probably in contention for my least favorite of the 3.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Nope is my favorite of his because it's the most original, I think.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
And most, I don't know, interesting? I don't know. Get Out, I think, is just such a solid film, top to bottom, as far as like on every level, like production, writing, acting, but then even like, the metaphor and the stuff like that. I think Nope Us feels a lot more convoluted and less targeted. I don't know, less
yeah,
focused, less focused.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Get Out was trying to make a statement, I think, and
Us felt very focused on like making things that looked interesting and scary, and not so much of having a good reason behind them.
So I'm at this point. He's only got 3 films, so you can't really like rank him in any type of like career hierarchy because there's just not enough information. He's only got 3 films.
Yeah,
but man, this is a guy whose needle is pointing up for me. And
he's really good. The films are fantastic.
I think that the thing I noticed, especially like I noticed it with all of his films, but it was really present in Us, is he's got that quality which is attention to detail.
Yeah.
Like
definitely,
shit,
definitely that.
It's like I'm looking at it and like in like one of the opening scenes, this kid is wearing a shirt and it's like that shirt was like intentional. Like he wanted that shirt to be the one that was worn, and it's like, and you see like a kid's toy early on, and it's like a toy ambulance that he uses to like block a door, and it's like all of those things are intentional, and they all come back around, and it's like every little detail is just there, and that's a quality that you don't see with a lot of filmmakers. Honestly,
no,
there's only a select few.
Yeah,
I think he also gets like the best performances out of the actors he works with.
Oh yeah, and he works with what I think is relatively inexperienced like film actors a lot.
Yeah, like not so much inexperienced, but like not almost like undiscovered. Like Daniel Kaluuya, I think had been acting for a long time, but like I didn't know who he was until Get Out, and he's incredible in Get Out. And then Lupita, of course, I'd known a lot longer, but I think Us is probably her best performance to date. Like it's really good. And then everybody,
she's fantastic.
Everybody in Nope is good,
Yeah. Nope is just so solid. Like it's damn near a perfect movie for me. Anyway, if you haven't seen Jordan Peele's films, there's only 3 of them. They're pretty enjoyable watches.
Really good, like all very similar kind of vibes and stuff. It just put on a little movie marathon, watch them all back to back.
I mean, it's been on my docket to finish out the 3 films for sure because the one that I did see, it's a great film. It's fantastically put together. It's very well done. So
I haven't seen Us since theaters, so I am due for a rewatch on that. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think most people I talked to kind of thought that it was the worst of his 3,
and that's probably what I would say. But
yeah, but I guess I was expecting it to be like
bad.
just not up to snuff, you
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah.
and it's every bit as good. It might not be better, but it's every bit as good as the other
Yeah.
two movies.
Well, and
he's
that's the
made.
thing. Like, yeah, it may not be being a worst film of somebody that makes great films isn't
Yeah.
really a big deal.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not
if
the worst, it's the least good.
Yeah.
You know,
And,
that's
and we're gonna talk about that later when we get to the feature.
yeah.
also, just for anyone curious, on a budget of 15 million, Thanksgiving has made 37.2 million. And a sequel is in development.
Of course,
Fucking
It'll-
shtick, dude.
They'll
Fucking
be able
shticks.
to fucking shoot that like the actor strike just ended, the writer strike is over, so like they're gonna be able to shoot this thing and
Oh,
have it
yeah.
ready for next Thanksgiving.
I'm sure it'll be
Yeah.
coming out Thanksgiving
And it'll be
2024.
just as fucking mediocre.
Worse, I would
It was
assume.
before.
It'll gross twice as much.
Because, like, I don't know, where do you go with a sequel besides doing the exact
Dude,
same
no,
thing?
people love
that's
that.
what they
You're a
do.
Scream
That's
fan.
what they do.
Yes, but like,
It's
Scream's
exactly what it is.
different, man.
It's not. It's the
it's
same
not
thing.
different,
It's the
dude.
same
Scream
thing.
has heart to
Okay,
it. This
no,
movie
no.
had
What
zero
heart?
heart.
There's no
how,
heart.
How Scream is different is the first film was good. After that, it's just like a shitty rendition of the first film over and
But
over.
see, I
again.
don't think any of the Scream movies are bad, though. I think they're all fun.
Everyone I've seen other than the first one, I would definitely say is not good.
And like, you know, Eli Roth is not like a young. He's the guy who made Thanksgiving. He's not like a young
Yeah,
first-time
no, yeah,
filmmaker,
yeah,
so he
yeah.
doesn't have an excuse for this movie.
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, he might not be
for
back.
sure.
It
Oh,
might
I
be.
mean-
It might be somebody else.
He probably
But
owns
no, I
the
mean,
rights to it.
at the end of the day, people love familiar bullshit. Like, they love it.
There was
Something
like-
that's
I feel like-
relatively familiar, something that's a shtick, people gravitate towards that stuff. So
Yeah,
of course, it's
yeah.
going to do well enough. I mean, look at fucking Marvel. Like,
I
that's
mean,
gonna
I
have a lot of
basically
action.
just went to see it for like the joke of like, oh, it's a movie called Thanksgiving, and
Yeah,
I'm
you
seeing
spent
it
your
during
money on
Thanksgiving.
it. That's what these things do. Like,
Yeah, it seems like a smart move by
Yeah.
somebody.
Hey, you
people
saw
will
it too.
always spend money on holiday bullshit. That's the whole bit. That's what holidays are. Is just spend money on bullshit. That's
Yeah.
that's it in a nutshell, dude. Give us your money for this thing that we've ingrained into you since childhood. You don't actually give a fuck about it, but you're gonna fucking operate on this trigger because you've been Pavlovian fucking conditioned to fucking respond to this. You know?
Yeah.
We ring a bell and you
I-
come fucking
I-
watching this shitty Thanksgiving movie.
I feel like we're kind of getting a pushback against like the elevated horror age and moving into like another schlocky garbage horror phase.
Yeah, I mean,
With like the popularity of stuff like Megan and Thanksgiving and
yeah.
other stuff that's come out this year that's been like, oh, people say it's
Yeah.
good, and then
Well,
I
there'll be
saw
good
it and like,
stuff,
no,
yeah.
that's garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, Robert Eggers is doing that Nosferatu at some point.
That's not coming out till next Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
so excited for
Is
that.
Defoe in that too?
No.
No, that's a different one.
Defoe is in it, but he's not playing
He's-
Nosferatu.
Okay.
Nosferatu is the
The guy who played Pennywise in the It movies.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah,
I love that
I'm
shit.
sure we
Yeah.
will. It'll be a long time before we see any images of that.
Yeah.
But Robert Eggers has
Yeah.
said it's Bill Skarsgård. That's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
That'll be
very
be
excited.
fun. That Skarsgård is fucking.
Yeah, he's
good.
like a perfect
Yeah,
temperament.
he's
for
good
that
shit
role.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Reese, did you have others?
No, nothing really worth talking about. If anyone's
The
interested,
only other
in
thing that I did watch an amount of one other thing, and it was the the MTV Aeon Flux anime. I watched like 6 episodes of that because I had like zero recollection of it, and like that shit is weird.
yeah.
That shit is it's interesting. It's worth a watch for sure. I can't remember anything from the film they made, but it can't be anything like the anime. It just can't. Like this thing is just all over the
It
place.
tries to be weird. That I also remember very little about the movie. I remember it does try to be weird, but
Yeah, it's definitely not as weird as the anime.
lot
I can
more
tell
dumb
you that,
than
man.
weird.
The fucking art style is super wacky, like
Yeah.
so every figure is so stretched and distorted, and like the play between the characters is almost like it's surreal in a lot of cases. It's super interesting, honestly. I only got about halfway through the first season, but it's worth checking out if you want a weird anime to watch. I do recommend checking
Yeah.
it out. I'm gonna finish it myself. So
Oh, I guess speaking of more TV and animation, I did start the new Netflix miniseries of Scott Pilgrim. takes off.
I wanted to watch that. It looked good.
I've only seen the first 3 episodes. There's 8, I think, or 9 total. I love it so far.
Is this an animated deal?
It's animated, yeah.
But
Still, it's
still
the
rated-
entire
still rated mature,
voice
though.
cast of the movie.
Yeah, and still it's still like adult.
Yes, yeah. It's
content,
it's
so,
R-rated,
like,
yeah. But I'm loving it so far. I'm a huge Scott Pilgrim fan. I love the movie, of course, the most, but the comics, the game, everything. I just love that
Right? There's some more TV stuff.
story.
Yeah, I got one more movie I watch. It's one that I've been meaning to get to ever since I saw your T-shirt, Reese. The Night of the Hunter.
Oh yeah.
I finally got that one knocked out. 1955 suspense thriller. Like it's really fucking good. It's really fucking good. One of the greatest movie villains I think ever.
Yeah. So evil.
Oh yeah. Like just like for a movie made in 1955, like I'm big into like Hitchcock shit. When you think thriller, you think Hitchcock, and his movies were more suspenseful. Like he never really had like a character like that where it was just like, this guy is fucking scary.
Yeah.
You know?
And
like he's scary and dangerous, and you should stay away from him.
Yeah.
You know?
Like terrifying, like thinks he's not a bad person, but he's definitely like on board for murdering children to get what he wants.
For real. He's
like literally disguise. I don't know if he's disguising himself or if he's like, he just says he is a priest.
Yeah, he's like a fake preacher.
Yeah.
And
he's like looking for these kids to kill because they know where the money he wants is.
It's like he's a fake preacher, but the thing is, he actually believes in his like divinity. Like, I mean, he like actually preaches like all the time, and he's always teaching people lessons that like to morph them into like his like ideology, and it's fucking like he's a whack job for sure.
The lighting and cinematography in that movie is unreal.
Yeah, it's just really good from start to finish. It's
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
I've been needing some older stuff to watch.
It was an easy watch with Molly. We both grew up on the black and white films, and this is one that neither of us had seen. And really, really strongly suggest it.
Yeah.
And dude, the T-shirt that you had that like was like the advertisement that got me to watch it. Like that's such an iconic image.
It is.
Like with like the hand that has like the hate tattooed across the fingers and.
Oh my god! I kind of want to get like love-hate tattoos just for that movie.
Yeah, it's fucking cool.
It being a cinema reference makes that tattoo a lot cooler.
Yeah,
like,
I would have to.
It's a pretty like
he uses
to earn it though. I'd have to memorize his whole speech.
Yeah. So he's got this like he's got love tattooed on one hand and hate on the other, and he'll use it to like he'll tell people like, this is a story about good versus evil. It's about the left hand versus the right hand.
Right.
And he's telling the story about his hands are like wrestling, and like how in the end love always wins out, and so good always defeats evil. But the thing is, this dude's like fucking pure evil. Pure evil. Right. So it's like, but he has this like this charismatic way of like getting people to like buy into his bullshit.
I mean, that's the most evil people have.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. Like,
it's like so two of the main characters in the film are actually a little boy and a little girl that he's like he kind of ends up chasing throughout the majority of the movie. And like the fucked up thing is like the little boy is like the only one that doesn't buy into his bullshit. This is immediately like, this guy's full of shit. This guy rubs me the wrong way, like immediately.
Yeah.
Have you either of you seen Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing?
No.
I have not. But in my defense, I think that Spike Lee sucks.
I mean, it's probably his best movie. But there's a character in the movie that has like hate, love, brass knuckles, and he does like the exact speech from that movie. It's very cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, Spike Lee. Just steal from a classic. That's fine.
Steal.
His best movie is the thing where he stole from a classic.
Hey, it's not a steal. It's a fucking.
It's an homage.
It's a nod, man. It's an homage for sure.
Yeah. But
that culture is full of homages, man. That's what hip hop is, man.
I'd fucking get the hate love tattoo. Man, that'd be awesome. It'd be dorky, but I could sell it if I learned the whole
speech. I mean, as long as it's modeled after the film, like,
Yeah,
and we could get good screenshots, and we could do exactly.
There was a time I asked somebody if I should, if I should do the X square circle triangle from PlayStation on my knuckles. I thought that'd be cool, but they said no. But
I mean, I
still
think
might
that
do it.
would be cool. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's a fucking sweet knuckle tattoo. For
yeah.
sure.
Also, super interestingly, the guy who directed The Night of the Hunter, who can't summon his name off the top of my head, that's the only movie he ever directed.
Really?
One and done.
Yeah,
Isn't that
that
crazy?
is really interesting. He might be the greatest filmmaker of all time.
just from the hit rate, 100% knocks it out of the park.
Shit.
Charles Lawton, that's his name.
Yeah, that is very interesting. And the actor Meacham,
Robert Mitchum.
Robert, I might have seen more of his stuff, but I didn't immediately recognize him as somebody I'd seen in something before.
No, he's like a not unknown actor, but like.
And by the way, it's like I spent like most of the conversation about the Night of the Hunter talking about how evil this guy was. But don't get it wrong, his performance is fucking brilliant. Like,
Yeah.
he is like for a 1955 film, it's hard for a character to be scary just because.
Yeah.
It's the
You
50s.
It's not as immersive.
Yeah, and like he's actually kind of like terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's also like the actor is very charming. He's very handsome. Like totally sells it.
Yeah.
That was the first. I mean I saw it like
Most
a
really
long
evil
time ago,
people
but
are.
that was my first introduction to him. But I've seen other stuff of his since. But
Okay.
he's a cool guy.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we delve into the feature, we got to go through a couple movie headlines.
Uh-oh.
The headlines, just to see some more shit that they'll probably get wrong. Last time we did headlines, we found out that Thanksgiving was at the top of a list. So
We're gonna find out that the best
people put a lot of bullshit at the top of the list.
best Christmas movie of all time is some movie just called Christmas.
Yeah. So let's get to a couple of these. You guys will like this one. Godzilla -1 is apparently breaking box office records left and right.
I heard it was. Somebody told me just the other day that it was pretty solid.
And you guys are more the Godzilla fans. I'm not
Yeah.
really as immersed into the world, but like it's what I understand, it's like the next one in the Japanese releases.
It's yes, but it's completely standalone. It's not going to
Okay.
to any other, and it's the first Godzilla movie that's been.
It is a Japanese film, though, right?
Yes. I'm shocked. It actually came to our theater. I'm seeing it on Saturday. I'm very excited.
No, I'm very excited too.
But yeah, it takes place like directly after World War II. And
Yeah.
it's not like the return of Godzilla. This is the first time we've witnessed Godzilla.
It's basically him awakening.
Yeah.
From what I've heard.
And it sounds
like,
really good.
The nuclear activity making him like,
Mhm.
hey, wake up, come to the surface.
Next headline. Apparently, there's a new Wonka film, and it
And I
set a
don't-
franchise record for
Fuck.
the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score.
I bet.
And so now
I
this
fucking
is
bet.
now a franchise that it just seems to get worse with every iteration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first fucking film was goddamn gold, man. Like Gene Wilder was gold. Like
Yeah.
dude. Oh yeah, no. I saw that talked about and was like, fuck that piece of shit. Because I just still had PTSD from the piece of shit that fucking goddamn.
I still think that there's
What's
space.
There is space. I agree with that. Yeah.
I think that there's space to make a Willy Wonka horror film. I think you could take the exact same story and just make it a horror film.
The twist at the end is that he's been killing the kids off on purpose.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, basically that kind of a thing.
And-
And then just make the whole thing a little bit edgier. Like, I think it'd be so easy to make that
even
movie.
without that, like even kind of keeping to.
Dude, that fridge does that,
I
man.
know.
It's the fridge.
Even without making it a horror film, I think there's still space. Even like with the initial idea of the there we go. That'll do. Even the first film in that space, you could still do more with that, because honestly, like.
I mean, the book has sequels.
Yeah.
They don't want to touch that.
I always think it's the dumbest thing when they just keep rebooting or making like fucking prequels that nobody asked for. When they like, there's books you could adapt the books.
There's all this shit. Yeah, it's just stop making it fucking dorky. Stop making it like stop making it what fucking Johnny Depp did. That piece of shit film. Like, stop doing that because that shit was atrocious. I imagine the new one was probably like more of that, just wonky, fucking heavy-handed.
But it wasn't
pop
Tim
comedy.
Burton, so probably
Yeah,
it's
it's
probably
somebody
it's
trying
probably
to
its
be
own
fucking
level
Tim
of.
Burton.
When I heard
It's probably somewhere in between the two.
Chalamet and the cast, I was like, okay, we'll see. And then the trailer came out, and the trailer looks terrible.
Actually, I did read the review today just because I was doing these headlines. And,
And now
the first few lines, it said it was like unnecessarily wacky.
I'm sure. I assumed as much. I didn't need somebody to tell me that.
An
Of
interesting
course, it's unnecessarily
sentiment.
wacky. The fucking last
isn't
one
every
was
movie
unnecessarily
isn't every
wacky.
movie that's wacky
Yeah.
unnecessarily?
It's kind of like that
wacky?
time that dude told me that the new Batman movie was a little far fetched.
No, so like the movie isn't actually out yet, so this is just like critics' reviews of Wonka because the movie doesn't come out for like 2 weeks. Yeah.
So there's confirmation that Kevin Smith is making a new Jay and Silent Bob film for anyone that thinks that that's necessary.
Stop, Kevin. Do other things.
It's like the fifth one. Isn't
Your
it?
other things, his other things.
Well, it's going to be
are
called Jay and
interesting.
Silent Bob 3 or something.
Fuck.
He
So
already did a
they
third
have
one.
appeared in like 15 of his movies or whatever. But
I think
like
he's doing it as a favor for fucking Jay.
for Jason
I
Mewes because
think
they're like
he's,
best friends.
dude. I think that's what it is.
That's the only thing that the dude has.
He did.
No, he does, dude. That's the thing. Everything, like his other shit, like Red State was really good. Tusk, as fucked up and weird as it was fucking cool. Like the other things he does is good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the Jay and Silent Bob shit is just like
Yeah, because
the Clerks X stuff is just like
2019,
fucking lazy,
he
man.
did Jay and Silent Bob.
Oh, I
reboot.
mean, Clerks the movie is like
Clerks is good, but
yeah.
but past that, it
But
just,
yeah,
it
have you seen
became this
Clerks 2
thing.
and Clerks 3?
I've seen Clerks 2. I haven't seen Clerks 3
Yeah,
yet.
you probably
won't.
you're not gonna.
But
wanna
there
watch
are
that.
some Kevin Smith movies that have merit. I think Mallrats is a
Yeah.
really fun movie.
Yeah.
He has
Chasing
plenty of good
Amy
shit to
is
offer. I
definitely got
want to
some
see
merit.
him do other shit, man. Like
Yeah.
actually, Tusk was one of the few like in recent years, one of the few things that actually like Johnny Depp didn't piss me off about because like his little weird role in Tusk and the fact that he didn't like he wasn't even in the credits as Johnny Depp, but he was just in the credits as the character in the movie. Like that was fucking neat.
Yeah.
You know, like yeah, no, we don't need more of that, Kevin. Stop it.
So next headline: upcoming Legend of Zelda movie director Wes Ball, which I did not know that they were making a Legend of Zelda movie. First of all,
I mean, we should have assumed by now. I
yeah.
suppose.
With how successful Mario was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that is the kind of thing similar to like.
well, this is a live action movie though.
It is. It is.
It is. It's a live action movie.
That feels like.
So anyway, the director finally spoke, and he basically was just kind of giving people vibes of what his vision for the movie is, and he said it's not going to be like Lord of the Rings. He said think live action Miyazaki film.
I mean, that's very easy to say.
Yeah.
That's like, ooh, like, well, think about the best movie you've ever seen. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Like,
Well, I think the important thing with that sentence is the not like Lord of the Rings.
yes, that's
Yeah.
true, and their heart's in
Yeah.
the right place. That is
Yeah.
live action Miyazaki would be like the way to go for that. So
Yeah, I'm genuinely curious about that. That actually
Yeah.
sounds cool. If it's done well, because if it's done tastefully, like it could be really good.
Yeah, it could be a sweet franchise too.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of
Oh,
space
yeah.
in that.
No,
world.
there is.
I
there
feel
is,
like
and you
it's
can make
just-
it a really cool fantasy epic.
like similar to some other projects, like the live action Akira movie they've been trying to make for decades. It's
Right.
like I kind of I'll believe it when I see it. Like when they got like a
Right.
poster or
For
a
sure,
trailer,
for sure.
then I'll start paying attention. But if it's still
Yeah.
just like directors
Honestly,
talking
you know
about
what?
vibes,
You know,
like,
I live act. No, I don't think.
Akira.
No.
No, I'm not interested. But they've literally been talking about it for like 20
No,
years.
I know, yeah, but I can't even like just don't like that. That movie is such a fucking masterpiece of that
Yeah,
medium
yeah.
that like just you can't.
You
it'd
can't.
be
You can't make it look better.
You can't. CGI won't make that look better. That
No.
film is artistically fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's so intense. It's so fucking beautiful. Like, that's where I anything.
The
I hate
last
live
director-
action anime.
Yeah. The last director that was in talks for it was Taika Waititi, which
Yeah.
is at least interesting, but
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't know.
It's just I just don't want to see it. Like I hate
Yeah.
the idea that you're going to replace animation with other animation and it's
Worse.
animation that I'm just
More expensive animation.
less interested in because like this animation is fucking amazing. Like this film is beautiful. Like why would you want to replace it with computer animation when these artists physically made a fucking masterpiece? Like just stop it.
Yeah.
But that's just me as an artist. So
All right, final headline, and then we can get on to the feature. A24 has reached an exclusive deal with Max, so all the A24 films are going to be exclusively on Max going forward.
cool. Sweet. I have easy
I
access
kind of
now.
like having they're all in one place. And
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
just
no,
know
I-
where
I
to find
do-
them.
And this is just, I think, slowly but surely, Max is starting to catch up to Netflix for that role of like streaming god,
Yeah.
and they're definitely, I think, the two titans right now.
I would say so.
I
I
mean-
will always be. I have been, and probably as long as they keep doing what they do. I'm a huge Netflix supporter. Because of the
I'm,
content.
like, super down on Netflix. Honestly, I watch it less frequently than all the other ones.
And that's perfectly fair. I don't
Yeah.
watch it that often, but I
Yeah.
still support Netflix the most
Sure.
because of the stuff they produce that's theirs.
They
Yeah.
still consistently put out like one thing a month at least.
That
I'm
is
like,
the
I need to
positive
watch
note
that.
for Netflix is like the fact that they do their own stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
and their stuff is kind
And
of
their
at
stuff
this
is
point
good.
the best part about them.
Yeah,
Is like
no,
their
it is
exclusive
like
stuff.
all the stuff that they just have is who gives a shit. The stuff that makes Netflix matter is the stuff that's the heavy hitting artistic productions they put out. I mean, they put out really powerful stuff.
Yeah.
They put out some bullshit, but people buy bullshit.
Oh, they put out a lot of bullshit,
You
but
know?
like to the point you don't even hear about 90% of it. you know?
People buy bullshit. If you're a
Yeah.
business, you gotta sell bullshit. I do all
Yeah.
kinds of fucking bullshit tattoos.
Yeah.
No offense to anybody who may have gotten something that
They don't
could
know.
be arguably be a bullshit tattoo. If you just randomly,
Nobody knows.
But any
Every-
artist, any
everyone
artist,
you've ever tattooed
everybody that's a
simultaneously.
functioning
Well, it's
artist,
not me.
everybody that's a functioning artist puts out something that they don't want to put out. Every graphic designer designs menus at some point.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like
for sure.
So whatever, like that's fine. But Netflix puts out some shit that I will always respect. That has a fucking that was powerful work, and as long as they keep doing that, I'm good with. But I mean, other streaming services have been doing really good stuff too. So
Yeah, yeah.
definitely.
It is kind of Max and Netflix though.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
Amazon's put out some good stuff. I've been hearing some good stuff from Apple.
Apple has a lot of really good shit. But as far as like if I had to cut all streaming services but like two, I just would have to keep Netflix and Max.
I've got my eye on Apple. Apple's got some really good original content.
Yeah.
They
But
do,
they are
yeah.
mostly original content, and they're pretty new at it.
Yeah.
So I think it's like one of those jury's still out situations, but their hit rate is actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
most of the stuff they've put out has been good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, for me, that's all I really care about is original content. I don't really
Yeah.
care
Yeah.
about the stuff that they have
Yeah.
access to.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I literally couldn't tell you a single thing that you could stream on Apple TV that isn't an original.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Do they do that? Like I don't know.
They do movies, I think. I think
I know like that you can rent movies through them, but do they also do like?
I think that they have some movies just for having the subscription.
Okay.
But yeah, it's one of those things. Like I think everybody should have Apple TV, but how long you should keep it is kind of the thing because it's one
Right.
of those things where, you know, it'll take you some time to get through, I guess, their existing content, but then they're just so new that I don't know that there's like enough coming in like every year,
Yeah.
like that's new. Like once you watched all the shit that there is to watch,
Yeah.
like it's kind of like a what next, you know?
So yeah, Netflix is one I would have to stay subscribed to. I think iTunes or Apple TV might be like a twice a year. Like you get it for 1 month, cancel it. 5 months later, you get it for another month.
Yeah,
you know?
it's probably one of those. It's like I have it's like Peacock. I
Yeah.
have Peacock right now. It's the third time I've had Peacock.
Yeah.
And it's like I get it. I got it the first time because I wanted to watch something that only they had, and then I
Yeah.
finished watching it, so
Mhm.
I canceled it. And then like, you know, same thing comes up, and then like the reason I have it now actually is because college football fan Notre Dame played 3 games this year that were exclusively on Peacock.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Yeah, I think like Showtime. Showtime is like a once a year. You subscribe to it for 1 week, cancel it, and then
Yeah, and that's why
51
Showtime is
weeks
such
later,
a
you
great
subscribe to
add-on
it again.
to all the other services.
Yeah.
Like, which, by the way, I have noticed this. I don't know, like, so you know how like all the like Prime and like like a lot of these other services, you can get like the premium channels as an add-on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but through Apple, everything is it through Apple? Yeah, through Apple, everything is cheaper as an add-on. It's like $1 cheaper than anywhere else. I don't know why.
Because they already
Yeah,
have
they
shit
probably
tons of
just
money.
take the loss on that.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, well, fuck it, people.
That's why they only produce their own shit and don't need to worry about having other movies because like they already make enough money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the lesser streaming, like Prime is great just because like I had Prime before Prime streaming was like really a thing. You
Yeah.
know, just for the delivery service, you know.
Right.
And so like just the fact that you just get that thrown in is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do. I
they
mean,
should
like,
honestly they should do the music too.
oh
You should-
my god.
Like the Amazon music should just be included also. That would make sense.
Speaking of Prime, do either of you or have either of you ever played any of the Fallout games?
That's my second favorite
Yeah.
franchise, hands down.
The trailer dropped for the Amazon Prime Fallout series.
Yeah.
It's coming in April, which is
Yeah.
way sooner than I was expecting because they announced it like right in the middle of the actor strike. So I was
Right.
like, okay, we'll get this in like 2 years.
Right.
But it's coming out in April. The trailer looks like better than I could have ever imagined.
And is the actor fucking what's his name? Southern guy. He's in Righteous Gemstones, Baby Billy.
Walter Goggins is in it.
He's in it,
but he's not the
main.
lead.
Ah,
No.
damn it, man.
The lead is
I would have loved to see him in
is
that
an
lead.
actress. I don't recognize her.
Oh,
but
so it's a
there's
chick.
some really
Okay.
fun actors in it. Chris Parnell is in it, and he's
Okay.
he's like a Cyclops.
Right.
You just like it's a brief trailer. You get a
Right.
lot of little flashes of stuff, but
No,
like
I
the budget looks insane.
once
I think-
once I heard about that, I was super excited because Fallout has so much that you can do, and it's so
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
It's so fun and so serious.
Mhm.
You can like, dude, that franchise is fantastic. So
Oh my god.
I'm looking forward to it.
The suits, what are they called? The power
The
suits.
power suits, yeah.
They look awesome. There's like a Zeppelin in one scene
Yeah.
that looks incredible. The budget looks like insane. It looks like as good as like a blockbuster.
I really I love Fallout because I played. A lot of people nowadays haven't played the OG Fallouts 1 and 2, but like, man, those games are fucking ridiculous. They're so much fun. They're so smart and gratuitous at the same time.
Yeah.
Just like the dirtiest shit you can imagine, but like super intelligent at the same time. Like, that's what I hope they carry into that show. That was the
Yeah.
first thing when I heard about it. I'm like, this better be as fucking grody and cutting and hard hitting as the first two games are, because like to me that's why I love those games, is those two games. The new games, I haven't played that many of them. Played Fallout 3, but to me my heart has always been in those first two because there's so much shit in those games and so
Yeah.
much it's so much fun, so much
Yeah.
wacky bullshit.
Some of my all-time favorite gaming memories are Fallout 3. There's
Yeah.
some incredible moments. In that
So yeah, that's exciting.
I'm gonna finish these. We're doing a little bit of a power rankings with streaming services. I think that Prime, if I take away the bonus and the fact that it's basically free because it's just part of a service that I already paid for,
Right.
and just go on merit alone, I think that Prime and Hulu are kind of on the same tier level. Whereas
yeah.
like they both have some good original stuff, and like a mixture of good original stuff and then other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're definitely on the next tier, and like there are definitely times when you go a long time without actually tuning into anything.
Yeah, I really give very little shit about Hulu.
And then I think the last tier is like Peacock, which as I was just describing is like, I think that they're the streaming service that are just like, we have this, we're the only ones that have it, so you have to get us
Yeah.
so that you can watch this. And like, so they're kind of like, I kind of hate them because of that. Like,
Yeah.
that's just annoying to me.
When I first saw them pop up, I didn't take them seriously at all.
No, it's just like
I feel about them as the same as Paramount Plus. I think they're like pretty equal in my eyes.
Paramount Plus is actually a little higher for me. I actually think that it's a tier above that. They actually do have some good stuff on there that I find useful. even though they don't have really like a bunch of original stuff as of yet. I think that I would put Peacock more on the tier as like the AMC Plus. But the thing about AMC Plus that it has going for it is it actually has the least amount of content. I think it's too new to have like original stuff other than like the AMC stuff that's on the AMC channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got some movies and stuff. But the thing is, it's only like $6.99 or $7.99, so it's the cheapest one. Yeah. But it also comes with the horror thing that you
Shudder?
like.
Yeah.
Shudder. Like,
it comes with Shudder?
It comes with Shudder.
Yeah.
So like,
wow, that just skyrocketed up from
like so.
Yeah, I'm a diehard Shudder.
Yeah,
and it's like I remember because I got
Shudder.
AMC Plus to watch something. It was just like watch this on Shudder. I'm like, well, I don't have Shudder. I'm like, oh, Shudder's like right here in the AMC catalog.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean,
and I was just like, so how much is Shudder? Because it's only like $7 a month for AMC Plus. Like, why would I pay for Shudder? I could just get this.
And
I think Shudder's only like
Shudder's,
$5, right?
Shudder's cheap too.
Yeah.
Shudder's like $60 a year.
Okay,
Like it's really fucking cheap.
And you can add it on to like Prime and stuff. Yeah.
And I do like, I'm a big Shudder fucking fan. There's a lot of really good shit on there and access to really weird shit, old weird shit. Yeah. So if you like horror of all kinds, like Shudder is the place to go. And nothing leaves Shudder. That's a cool thing.
Then
nothing ever
most
goes.
of their stuff is like originals, and I think that's really cool.
There's a lot of really good original stuff. There's shit that you're never gonna find anywhere else that never really goes away. It's always gonna be there.
That's cool.
Or at least for a fucking long time. I think the only thing that I've ever seen leave Shudder was that fucking The Untold Story, that Chinese flick I told you about. It's the only thing I've ever seen leave Shudder, I think. But
so anyway, we didn't come here today to talk about any of that.
But we did.
But
hope
we
you
didn't come here to
enjoyed
talk
it.
about anything that we've
God damn
said so far.
We came here to talk about Jesus.
We're going to talk about it's the holiday season.
Yeah.
It's December now. So what would the holiday season be without a Christmas movie?
This was a sleeper
And
evangelical
what could be more
podcast.
Christmas than Christ dying on a cross?
Yeah.
It is more.
Spoilers.
That's Easter. by the
Christ
way.
does in fact die on a cross in this film.
Yeah. There's a little bit of hemming and hawing.
Yeah.
A little bit of hemming and hawing here, but
Do I have to?
But, John,
Come on.
this was actually your pick.
It was my pick.
So tell us what we need to know about the last temptation of Christ.
So,
If you want to go into it fresh, it is, again, not streaming on any services, but it's available to buy or rent on all the normal places. YouTube, Google, Vudu, Amazon,
the
Apple.
uses.
Yeah. In my opinion, definitely worth your money.
Yeah.
This is normally the place where we would mention spoilers.
Yeah, there are some, but I mean, there's not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I guess
it's about Jesus. So
Well, I mean,
It's
there's
the kind of movie where talking about the execution is the spoilers, not so much the content.
Well, there is a different. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm not super versed in the Bible, but I feel like there's a bit of a different story by the end of it. Like most of it's
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 more the
Jesus.
characters. Like
it's the thing that happens once he's on the cross. There's a departure from, because I mean, once he's on the cross, what's going to happen. But there's a departure from the Jesus story at the very end.
Yeah.
The rest of it's just Jesus.
Yeah, he's got there's like a fever dream.
Yeah, there's a fever dream at the end. That's the spoiler.
Yeah.
But
so basically, the main difference. We can get into it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, what made me want to watch the movie? One is I didn't know this film existed. It's directed by Martin Scorsese, based on a book that is a Greek book, and written by Nikos Kazantzakis.
Yeah, I'm sure that was right.
Kazantzakis. Yeah, I mean Nikos.
If you tried, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, I mean some shit,
Nikki K.
Based on the gospel. The movie itself is not. The book and the movie are like a take on the gospel, as we mentioned before. That it kind of departs at a certain point in the Jesus story.
The movie very quickly tells you that it's not based on the gospel.
Yeah, it lets you know right away. But yeah, it's Martin Scorsese directs, and that's what made me so interested. Is not just Martin Scorsese directing, but Willem Dafoe plays Jesus. And as soon as I heard those two things together, thanks to Reese mention it to me, I was immediately like, okay, Martin Scorsese directing and Willem Dafoe playing Jesus. Then we get Harvey Keitel as a bonus as Judas, which did not expect. I guess I should have maybe with Scorsese directing, but
which his character I think is the one that like differs most from like the Bible.
I'd have to imagine so.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, this isn't based on the Bible, so that's
not.
fine.
It's not. It is not. But
but if you're looking for reasons why it's not, Harvey Keitel's character is Judas in the Bible is very different.
And he's so fucking Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
Like, he's so Harvey Keitel.
You know who Judas is in The Last Temptation of Christ? He's Jesus's manager.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, it's those things together made me really super interested in checking the film out. And then, as Ford mentioned in the last episode, we expected you to pick this, but so I just feel like I had to get out of the way, and it worked. But yeah, it's definitely a really interesting telling of the story. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit edgier, of course, than the story would normally be told, which makes it more interesting, of course, to see this kind of a thing with more of an edge to it. Definitely makes it more palatable to people who aren't, students of the gospel, to say. So yeah, I mean, it delivers on that for sure. Performances are solid for sure. Defoe, I think, did a great job. The thing that I will say is it didn't feel as polished as a lot of Scorsese stuff, which I'm more familiar with later Scorsese stuff than early Scorsese stuff. And I think this was the 16th film of his in order. And it was super interesting. It was good, but it definitely had some abrupt stuff. And I think like the adaptation from the book maybe missed some scenes. Like I feel like there could have been some better choices here or there, because some of the stuff was very abrupt in transition. Some of the stuff,
some of the miracle stuff was like, I wouldn't really call it like bad special effects. I just call it no special effects. It's like
the wine thing was great.
Yeah,
we're out of wine. Are we? Yeah, we are, Jesus. Well, I don't know. Maybe you should go check. Oh, you son of a bitch.
Ain't I something?
That's exactly that. There's a little fucking quirky smirk from Willem Dafoe, like, ah.
But like there's the one where like the apple tree, he just makes it appear or whatever. It's just like, it's like shot to like long view shot of Jesus in this like little like fucking hole with no apple tree, and then it's like cut the other direction and you just see Jesus, and then cut back, boom, there's an apple tree there now. It's just like, okay, that's not like Martin Scorsese level shit there. This is, I mean, it's 1975 Martin Scorsese, but
I will also say that like they'd been trying to get this movie made for like over a decade.
Yeah.
Right.
Martin and Harvey, it was like a passion project of theirs, and they like were struggling for funding for years. And even when like they were finally doing this, it was still like kind of iffy. So like I do think they had to go about with like, you're doing a more complicated premise with a smaller budget.
For sure.
Like what every other gangster movie you do, just shoot in a city and boom, there's your set.
No, and it is way more challenging because like you have to be able to put all this stuff together in the right settings.
My immediate takeaway as far as it as a Scorsese film is that like it doesn't feel like you're watching a Scorsese film, and I think it's because it's mostly outdoors. Mm-hmm. You think Scorsese, you think like city, nightclub,
right?
Like casino, like you think indoors, and like
it was lacking the usual proximity
of
characters and the way that he usually puts his characters together. There's that proximity.
I am disappointed they cut the scene from the Bible where Jesus goes to the nightclub. Like, come on, guys, that's such an important scene.
I mean, it's actually in the Bible.
He did go to the nightclub.
They cut it from the movie.
He did go to the nightclub. The nightclub being Mary Magdalene's room, where he patiently sat and watched 40 dudes fuck her.
Yeah.
Well,
He sat there for a good, like, I don't know, full day while
Full day,
Mary
yeah.
Magdalene was getting fucking boned. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
so I guess this is kind of a nightclub.
Yeah. She wanted him to be 41, but he wasn't having it.
Yeah, he wasn't. And so that's the thing, like that interaction, when they show Jesus and Mary Magdalene together, and like they hint at like some betrayal that happened, and like there's just that context. Like I haven't read the fucking Bible. I don't know what betrayal there was. I didn't think there was any betrayal between.
Oh, the Mary Magdalene Jesus relationship is probably the most inflated thing that they have.
Yeah.
Very little interaction in the Bible, but
Other than Harvey Keitel's hair.
but that's like the whole crux of like the Da Vinci Code too, is that
Sure.
Jesus had
Yeah.
a family with Mary Magdalene.
Right.
So it's like for whatever reason, there's that common like
Right. No, I mean,
theory.
It fucking tracks.
Yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
view this and that's the whole thing about this story is it's him, battling with his humanity. And I think that if you're gonna ever think about this character, if you're religious or not religious, like you have to think about this character as a person, regardless. And
Yeah.
I think that it sure as shit tracks that a person in that stage of human evolution would have these kinds of relationships. I mean,
Yeah.
it just works. But in this scene, after he watches her get boned by a million dudes, there's like, "Oh, you betrayed me, Jesus," and he's like, "I'm so sorry. I want you to forgive me." But like, "Oh, well, fuck, what'd you do? I don't know. And then they just don't ever touch on it. It's not addressed. And there's a few other scenes.
Yeah, it seems
there's
to
some
be
lack of
implying.
context here or there that was a little frustrating in the film for sure.
Yeah, I guess they're just, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but
I
like
guess-
it does seem to be implying that they had a relationship, and he is
Yeah, because of his
has been-
godliness.
he's been discovering his messiahness that he
Right.
felt
Messiahness.
wrong with pursuing a relationship with her.
Right.
And that's one of the things I do like about the film is the portrayal of Jesus.
Yeah, it's
It's
a much
like-
more human portrayal.
He's
and that's really interesting.
he's a self-doubting
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yes,
I
I love that so much.
like the fact that he's like struggling with his
Yeah.
own not only his own mortality but just his own like divineness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his role and everything, the choices he makes. Which it's funny that he's like so like he ditched Mary Magdalene, but is like super happy to fucking build crosses for Jews to get stuck up on.
Yeah.
he suffers that well enough, but
Yeah.
no, not boning this lady. That's just fucking that's too much. But no, it's super interesting, and it's refreshing to see a more human portrayal of this character and him battling with his humanity versus his divinity. So
Which, like, more human than normal is like the lowest bar imaginable, because like Jesus is just never portrayed in at all a relatable or human thing.
Yeah,
it's
no,
always
it's-
like he's God.
exactly,
period. And
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
like-
No, he's just the fucking shit. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, there's like you can't do. Yeah, no,
And that's
I-
it's so unrelatable.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like
it is.
not interesting in the
yeah,
slightest.
and that is definitely what I would say for this story and this film. I'm actually kind of curious to read the book, to see the difference there. But yeah, it's human. It's something that you can actually, as a person that's not of that ilk, that's outside of that faith, like it actually is like a consumable story at that point. Like it's interesting enough because it's not just like, oh man, this guy's the fucking shit, you're terrible, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, yeah, this guy's kind of fucked up too. And so like, yeah, that does make it probably the most interesting Jesus story I've ever, partaken in to date, because it is at least that.
Yeah.
It is at least a person struggling. It's a person that is human, that has flaws, that's dealing with all those things. So,
Yeah.
and for
it's-
the people that they got, man, like I really he didn't disappoint. That was the big reason why I wanted to watch the movie.
Mhm.
Was Willem
Yeah, I
Dafoe
think
was
he's
in it.
fantastic.
I think he delivered really well. I mean, as a person that's not religious, like seeing the delivery of the thing that he was delivering
Mhm.
made me chuckle quite a bit because I'm not religious. So like, what am I supposed to do? Go talk to them with your mouth. Oh, okay. hey, I'll try it. Holy shit, I talked to them with my mouth and it worked. They followed me. Like, so that makes me chuckle like a motherfucker. But, you know, he delivered that really, really well. He was very impassioned about the talking of the mouth. So yeah, it's...
Let's talk about Harvey Keitel's hair.
We have to. I was about to segue.
I have to imagine maybe that is literally the one reason they had such a hard time getting the movie made. Is because he insisted, no, I have to have a red beard and hair.
This is never going to happen again. I have to have it.
The thing is, though, I'm pretty sure that his beard, like his goatee and all that, was all just vintage Harvey Keitel.
Yeah, I think the hair is real.
It was not the same color as his hair.
I think they may have tried to make it the same color, but it just didn't stick.
Yeah. Like, I could see Harvey Keitel underneath that.
It's like,
oh, yeah. No, it was super distracting.
At some point, they got turned down with like $100 million budget because he refused to change the color.
No, man, this is some like nice like curly poof.
Not
like this guy's got some soul glow going on, man.
Not only does it make zero sense for Harvey Keitel to have bright red ass hair that's curly, makes no sense for anyone
in the story
to have bright red ass hair.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it's like oh, it's Judas. You got to make him stand out. You know, it's the Judas character. He's an important character. But like that just doesn't fucking track. That tracks about as much as a fucking Christmas goddamn manger scene where everybody except 3 dudes is fucking white as snow.
Yeah.
That doesn't track. Yeah. Everyone is brown in that scene.
Yeah.
They are in the Middle East. Everyone has always been brown in the Middle East. There are no white people there. They're brown.
Oh my god. Yeah, you do have to get over, and not even from like this isn't PC, but like it's like you have to accept some amount of like believability. It's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
This is the world this movie's set in. Everyone in this time
you
is
always
white.
do. You always do.
I do think it's the Judas character that is gonna piss off the Christians the most.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
for sure.
and mostly with the how they. First off, his portrayal, where he's like basically Jesus Christ's manager and best friend and confidant, like that's a little weird and forced. I feel.
Yeah, and he doesn't actually in this story too. He doesn't actually betray.
Well, that's the thing.
No, he doesn't.
That's the thing. It's almost like they painted it as if he betrayed him because it was his duty to betray him.
Because Jesus literally tells him.
And that's like that idea is going to piss off Christians.
Oh, yeah,
like
for
that,
sure.
That idea is for sure. Like that's sacrilege in the eyes of
No, this
Christian.
guy's a piece of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But anyway, I have like basically said as much as I can say about it. I'm not a religious person. I did grow up a little bit in church, and so I know some of the writings and the scriptures. I've read a good portion of the Bible when I was younger. I don't plan on revisiting it.
Yeah, you
like,
just
ever.
skimmed like.
I tried to read it from cover to cover once. Like, you're gonna do that shit, man. Start with the New Testament. The Old Testament's like fucking monotonous.
You cut the Old Testament
You get past all the
to
begetting, it starts to pick up.
you cut down the Old Testament to the interesting parts, and it's like, I don't know, maybe like 15% of it. Like, you know, it's a lot of names,
a lot of nonsense. But anyway, I
guess we should talk about the actual departure from the Bible.
Okay.
At the end, like so, the spoiler is happening now.
Yeah.
So usual Jesus stuff.
Let's talk about the last temptation.
That's in
the last temptation of Christ.
Which honestly, like, to a degree, makes really no sense. So anyway, Jesus gets put up on the cross, as per usual. You know, he's gonna do his whole dying, suffering thing.
Yeah, he's bleeding out.
Yeah, bleeding out, all that jazz. I actually appreciated the reality of the cross and crucifixion in it. I think it's really well.
You should check out Passion of the Christ. It's even more detailed.
Well, like just the way
you see every blood drop.
Well, the way they like
see like his intestines hanging down.
The way they practically handled like how it would be done. Like it made sense. It tracked. I appreciated that. Anyway,
it doesn't have the Christian fetishization of the cross.
Yeah.
The most beautiful shape in the world.
Yeah,
like,
which is just fucking weird.
Yeah.
Anywho, he's up there. He's dying. Yada yada yada. And what he perceives as an angel pops up in the form of a little girl. It's like, oh, God told me to like relieve you of your suffering so you can have another life. And then it's him going back to two women characters that were previewed earlier in the film, and him starting up a family with these two women, begotten a fuckload of begotten kids, like fucking 6 or 7 or something like that. With this little girl angel always there in tow, like alongside him, like kind of helping him out, encouraging him, and all this jazz. He gets all the way to his old age, and he's dying, and then all of his old buddies show up, and Harvey Keitel included, and that's when it's revealed that the angel is actually Satan and has been tempting him to die a mortal life instead of dying on the cross. But like, so like a vision, right? Because he's still on the cross. So like, the whole bit is for him to die as a mortal.
I think the idea, the spiritual idea being that he has to die with the intent.
With the intent of
He's like accepting Satan into his heart is the whole like biblical ramification.
Sure.
Like,
and not dying gladly, I guess. Yeah.
What's the thing that Catholics do? The last
eat crackers and drink wine on Sunday.
Or the priest comes.
Oh, we forgot the
read your last
with that scene too.
Whatever it's
when
called.
he was breaking
where the priest like forgives all your sins on your deathbed. Or what that's called.
Yeah, so that was the last temptation. Figured we should actually pay a little bit more much to it. It was Satan trying to dupe him at the end, like
And again, Satan was just this like fire.
Satan was pretty lazy. They stuck a fucking...
The special effects in this movie are not very special. Let's just say that.
No.
My final thoughts on the movie are that it's not one of my favorite Scorsese films. I don't think it's his worst movie. But I think it's in like the bottom tier. I would put it like towards the bottom third for myself. Mm-hmm. And that's based mostly just on I hate even getting into this, but I think the story is kind of just like whatever. I mean, the greatest story ever told. It's not that great when you think about it.
It's like, I don't know. It's like if you've been told Superman stories your entire life, and everyone tells you that Superman stories are the coolest, best stories in the world. Yeah. And you've just never really gotten it. And then a competent person comes up and tells you a Superman story. And you're like, oh, shit, I get it now. You know, like I literally grew up from birth, like just indoctrinated with fucking Christianity and Jesus and how great he was and you owe everything to him. And it was like always kind of like unrelatable to me and just like, I don't get it. Like, you know, when you're a kid and like, Jesus is a fucking superhero. And then you hear the story of, and then the devil came to him and said, I'll give you a pile of money. It's like, why would Jesus do that? Yeah. He knows he gets to be fucking God. Yeah. You know, like, you just have to know
he is God.
Wow, Jesus sure is a great guy. You know, like they tell you why without showing you why. And so this is just the most like humanizing and relatable and beautiful and like passionate. It's so weird as like
there's a lot of passion in the performance from Willem for sure.
Martin Scorsese's an Italian Jew and like did the best portrayal of Jesus like I could ever imagine. Like it's such a personal story for me, and I feel like the first time I watched it, I was just like the last 40 minutes were like transcendent for me, and then the like that ending with like it's a very iconic ending where Jesus and it's odd that they changed some of the language because like I feel like the very famous quote is "It is finished," and for some reason in this it is accomplished. I don't know if that's like a more direct translation.
It wasn't based on the Gospels. They tell you.
That's true. But then the like the film corrodes, and then Peter Gabriel's like really big finishing piece comes up, and it's so just oh my god. Right. Also that the film corroding was actually an accident. There was an exposure. They almost lost like that entire tape the day of shooting. There was an exposure of the film, and that like corruption of the scene was not planned. So sorry to interrupt your final thoughts.
No, that's fine. My final thoughts are over. So
yeah, I probably played it up too much as like when I said, I don't remember if I said I think it was one of Scorsese's best or if I said it's one of my favorites.
You definitely like put it out there that it was one of your favorite Scorsese.
And that's perfectly
movies.
fine too.
Yeah.
That's
there's
nothing wrong with that at all.
But I can, it'd be kind of like,
I think it's a fucking interesting thing
I
for
would
him to have in his fucking body of work.
And I don't think he has a bad film. I just, it's in the lower third for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And I think that having just watched Killers of the Flower Moon and then watching this,
that's unfair for any movie.
But I mean, hey, it's like it's what you're competing against when you're competing against yourself as Scorsese, So anyway, John,
my final thoughts is I really enjoyed. I'm glad that this film exists. I'm glad also this book exists. I do agree with Reese that it's nice to have a more humanized version of Jesus. I would actually like to see some films that humanize Jesus even more, because even though I'm not Christian, I don't have any problem with the idea that there was a Jesus. I have my own thoughts about what Jesus probably would have been if he is real. And so that's it's great to have that. It's great to have a different perspective that can translate to a greater audience. And honestly, like, Christians should be glad that this film exists.
Yes.
If any of them are mad that it does or it's blasphemous, of course they fucking think everything's blasphemous because they're fucking Christians. They take everything too seriously. They should be glad that it's here because this can actually like communicate to a broader audience for their gospel,
Yeah.
So I think the performances, there are some very passionate performances. I think, it is definitely like there's some disjointedness to some of the stuff in the film. They did what they could with some stuff in the film, the best they could. It's definitely Martin Scorsese, not his best work, but it was relatively early, and he was working way outside of his wheelhouse at the time, so you can definitely forgive him on that. But it's definitely worth a watch for sure. I mean, it's definitely, especially for anybody that loves film, anybody that is a fan of Martin Scorsese, I think you should check it out. I think it's a great thing that he has this in his body of work, because it's so much different than so many things. And there are some funny, like, gangster elements too. And dude, you can't stop Harvey Keitel from being Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
He still is like fucking Harvey Keitel, because the whole time he's used like, these fucking punks over here, like, god damn. Oh, these guys are pussies.
They did say that apparently it wasn't completely unintentional. They were wanting it to feel very relatable and like some like these are people you could know, And so like they weren't honestly going for the realism.
One more thing, like just going into it, having not seen it and knowing that it was Martin Scorsese, I guess that what I really wanted was just more of that.
Yeah.
Just don't tell the Jesus. I got really excited when I saw the opening and it said this is not based on the gospel.
Right.
It's based on
like,
just like
I'm motherfucking Jesus.
Yes, make that movie.
Yeah.
Make that movie. Like and not in those exact words, but you know what I mean? Like just make it like a normal guy that like hey, aren't you the guy that's like supposed to be God? Like apparently,
Yeah, for sure.
What they tell me, I don't know.
Maybe you're more excited for Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Jerusalem.
I would watch that movie.
No, I think it's a solid flick for what it is. It's definitely for anybody that enjoys film. It's something you should. It's a notch on your belt you should have.
Yeah,
definitely. So you watch it. It might, if you're religious, it might aggravate you here or there, or it might be refreshing. I don't know.
But in the film's defense, most things probably do.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you are religious and would be offended by this movie, I think you should welcome that offense and like you should learn from it.
Because there's nothing. There's nothing really. There's nothing that shits on the Christian faith whatsoever. There's nothing that shits on the story of Jesus whatsoever.
No, there's nothing about it that belittles
I mean, there is like maybe
the
some.
gospel.
There is an amount of tenderness from Judas to Jesus that might make some Christians feel uncomfortable when they're like cuddling in the desert and stuff.
You know, if anything,
like
that's
that.
more kind to the character of Jesus because
It is.
he's telling Judas that he has to do this. Whereas
Right.
the idea in the Bible is that, of course, Jesus knows that Judas is going to betray him.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like he's just going to like, oh, by the way, one of you is going to be like one of the most hated figures in all of human history. So go ahead and do that. You know, like,
Yeah,
and listen, in this version, he's like, hey, buddy, I'm sorry, but you got to do this.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure. No, yeah, I think it's solid. Definitely not the highest ranking Scorsese flick. It has a little bit of his flair in there. But
Yeah, that's what I did. That's what I was missing.
yeah.
Like, if it didn't say Martin Scorsese on the poster, I wouldn't know that it was. You know,
There's
if
a
he wasn't in the
little-
credit. I don't get Martin Scorsese. I mean,
There's a tiny
I-
bit.
I-
Really,
I don't think he
Harvey
shines through.
Keitel is just the Scorsese-ness.
Yeah,
because
if you
like
took
he's
out
the only
him,
pseudo gangster
even Harry Dean Stanton, I don't think is really is like a
The
Scorsese.
kill scene when they murder the guy that got brought back from the dead, like
Lazarus,
that's
Yeah.
that's pretty Scorsese.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Oh, yeah,
that
they're coming
exact
like,
scene is
"Oh,
in
now it
every
feels like a
Scorsese.
Scorsese flick.
Yeah.
When they're fucking knifing this guy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty sure that's in every Scorsese movie where a bunch
Yeah.
of guys gather around and stab one.
There's gotta be a knifing. So yeah, I think it's solid. I think it's worth a watch. I think it's worth a watch for Christians. It's worth a watch for non-Christians. It's probably for non-Christians it's the most relatable Christian story you're gonna
Yeah.
see. For Christians, it might give you a little broader perspective, maybe, or you'll just fucking harumph and go stomp around your house for a while after you watch it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they probably
And
just
you
won't
deserve it.
watch
you know?
Like that's the bit for Christians.
I'd say if you want to watch a Martin Scorsese take on religious topics with a more modern, like Scorsese-ness and budget,
Yeah.
Silence is definitely worth your watch, and I would happily watch it with anyone who wants to watch it.
Silence.
Silence. It's the one with Andrew Garfield and Adam Driver.
Oh yeah,
I think it's from like 2016.
it's a Scorsese
Oh,
film.
that's the other fucking thing I watched. I watched that 65 million BC fucking thing with Adam Driver the other day.
Oh, that movie looked terrible.
Oh, it's not great.
Yeah.
No, it's pretty bad. I mean, Adam Driver is it's
Yeah.
Adam Driver. He's he's good.
Yeah. No, this is
The movie.
Indiana
shit.
product.
Adam
Yeah.
Driver and Andrew Garfield are like Spanish.
I don't know how this one slipped through my cracks, man. I didn't even know this movie existed.
Yeah, that's their Spanish.
I had a lot going on in 16.
Yeah, you're right.
Spanish missionaries in like feudal Japan.
Okay.
It's really good. But yeah, if you guys want to watch that, I definitely need to rewatch that. That one's incredible. I mean, this one's incredible. They're all incredible.
He's pretty good at what he does.
I personally like. Maybe it doesn't seem as much your cup of tea, but I really like competent storytellers diving into like religious themes. I think it's very interesting.
And I'll be the first to admit that like my own views towards the topic definitely taint any enjoyment I can get out of it, just because like I think the story's like bullshit, and so like when you try to sell me a bullshit story as like a historical like piece, it just doesn't work, you know, like because
Yeah, you think the Jesus narrative is like 100% completely fabricated?
no, well, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. But, like, it's told as if the way that it's told by whoever tells it, it's as if it is 100% factual. And that's the
Yeah.
part that I, like,
No,
I don't
that's
know.
why
And you don't know either, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't help but chuckle.
Yeah.
Because when it's told factually, it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah. I mean,
Talk with your mouth.
Like, so I guess, like, delving back into what I expect, like, I would have I want to see I want to see this movie written by, and hey, if Tarantino has to do it, cool. But like, I don't think we needed any of the, like the wine thing. Like, go check it. Like, who's to say? Like, he could have had somebody swap it out. Like,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like actually put doubt into the idea. Like, he's doubting himself as to whether or not he's the son of God or not. Like,
At
why?
that point in the story, though, he's pretty much
Why not put
embraced
doubt
it,
into
though.
the viewer as well, other than the fact that it's just taboo for
Yeah.
the groups of people that are into the story.
Mhm.
Like, if the whole movie would have ended and he would have been crucified, and at the end we're like, fuck, was he really the son of God? You know, like if the movie would have made me question that, that would have been one thing. But the movie just kind of, even though it wasn't based on the scripture, it did kind of just walk into a lot of the same problems I have with the scripture.
There's nothing to say that the movie is confirming his story. There's no point.
Well,
to
he
hear,
did
like,
make
the
an
voice
apple
of
tree
God.
like appear, even like no matter how bad like the actual like effects were to make it happen. He did
Right.
just go like snap my fingers and boom, there's an apple tree.
So
Yeah.
Satan made that apple tree appear, I think.
Okay, I mean, whatever. I don't
Yeah,
think
but
he's real
Jesus
either.
didn't- Jesus didn't do it.
Whatever. But you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think that the problem with this story for me is that there's a part of it, if it was any other movie and it wasn't about this character from that book, you would consider it fantasy or science fiction
Oh yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I mean,
And
that's-
the fact that you tell it as if it's not, I think that my idea going into it, I thought it was going to be that. I thought it was going to be like, you know what? Here's the story, but we're going to leave out all the elements of fantasy. And so
Right.
like you can, you know, at the end of the day, he's just an ordinary guy or
Right.
could just be an ordinary guy.
That's
kind of the way I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Is it any different from like a movie, like
it's a film we want
like
to
a
see happen.
Hercules movie or a Thor movie? You know, you're like where you're treating these as the gods that people believed they were and that believed they actually existed. You know.
Well, no, I mean that's what you have to treat these things as. But I think what Dustin's saying is just that he was hoping that it wouldn't be that.
I was
He was
hoping
that
to get like, because you never
it's
get the
the
story.
human version.
You, like nobody's ever done the
Purely
movie
human version.
like here's the story of Jesus Christ, but like
That person.
yeah, but
Strictly
the
the
person,
person.
and like
Not-
and
not
like there is
the
actually
other
no
attachments.
special effects necessary because he doesn't actually do anything like miraculous,
Yeah.
you know, and like because
I kind of hope for the same thing too. Honestly,
You know what I mean?
did
Yeah.
hope for just more of like a purely human. I didn't think it was going to be as much of just like it's still like, and
he
especially
was-
with the opening of like this isn't based on the gospel. I'm like, okay, cool. I
he
mean,
was
it
definitively
is,
Christ though. He was
really,
definitively Christ. They didn't
Yeah, no,
they
that's
didn't
what I'm
shy
saying.
like, and I thought that
it
they
was
could have
based on the gospel, except for his last temptation per se. But the rest
yeah,
of it was
and
just
some other
gospel.
character.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess that's just what I was expecting going into it. I thought that it was going to be more, but then like immediately it's like, no, he is the Christ, and like he can do magic,
Yeah.
and like
I don't know. I don't even know if that movie could be made because
fuck it, let's do it.
Christians, you know, like
Well, no,
I think it's funny you were saying like I think
It
people
could be
are
made.
gonna be pissed. There's a category on the Wikipedia page for this movie titled controversy, and there are 4 subcategories to controversy that are censorship and bans, protests, death threats,
Right.
and terrorist attack.
Well, so the thing
So
is,
people
though,
were not happy about
no,
this.
and
movie.
they're never gonna be.
The film we're talking about could be made, but it wouldn't be in theaters. And
Yeah.
that's.
I mean, could be.
I mean, it could be, but I mean, who gives a shit if it's not? Like,
Mhm.
That film can be made because.
I mean, that movie
fucking
might
what?
exist somewhere. It's
Yeah,
just
it-
not
it-
made by
it-
Martin Scorsese.
I'm not even
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about sacrilege. All I'm talking about is
Just a
the
human
elements.
Jesus.
The elements that are fantasy. Don't put them in the film. You know, like you can include the turning water into wine because it's like, yeah, man, I had fucking Judas switch that out. You know, nobody was looking.
Yeah.
But like that's what I'm saying is that like you said that's not sacrilege, but this version of the story is considered sacrilege.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that movie probably could have gotten
anything
murdered.
that isn't word
Like,
for word
Yeah,
from
anything
their
that's
book
not
is
as
gonna
per the text
Yeah,
always
is gonna be
gonna
considered sacrilege.
And the stupidest part is they did probably. I mean, they were protesting it before it even came out. Like they didn't even pay attention to what the story was. It's just
Right.
like, what? You're not a Christian. You're making a Jesus movie. We gotta fucking kill you. That's what Jesus
Yeah.
would want.
I guess
Yeah.
I guess my whole thing is he made a movie where you see Jesus with this self-doubt, like is he even Christ? You know,
Right.
like he doesn't really. There are definitely moments where he just doesn't know. He doesn't know
Yeah.
what the next step is. He doesn't know what
Right.
he's supposed to do or who he is or what is wanted of him. And like my whole thing is, if you're gonna make your character have those things, then do that to me as the audience member.
Right.
Like he's sitting there like questioning himself, but at the same time, he's just we have apple trees appearing out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, and that's
and
so,
like just take the mysticism out of it for the sake of the
Right.
story and tell it as if it's this guy could be the son of God or he could just be a schizophrenic.
Right.
You know, like
yeah.
I don't know. I
That-
just think that point of view would be refreshing.
No, it would be refreshing, but it would be required to be made like now, like,
Yeah.
in like a super independent setting. Because like at that time, like, it wasn't Scorsese's like second film that he made this film. It was his fucking 16th film. So he was like an established filmmaker. So as an established filmmaker,
Yeah.
he really couldn't do that. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
personally, he probably believes in God. So he probably was just excited to do a different version of that. It takes a non-Christian to make that film,
Yeah.
or a very heady Christian, which I know.
Yeah.
I know Christians.
It just
that are-
takes an intelligent
I'm not-
person.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's
And I'm not saying make a movie where you're saying that Jesus wasn't the son of God.
Yeah.
I'm just saying leave
human-
leave it open to interpretation. Don't make the
Yeah, for
miracles
sure.
so miraculous. You know,
Yeah.
like
no, it would be
you're,
super.
you're pushing a
refreshing.
point
It'd
of view as soon as he makes something
Yeah.
appear out of thin air.
Yeah,
You know?
no, it would be super interesting, and they like reset it. It may very well exist in some small space
yeah,
here or there.
probably
And-
some fucking horrifying
Yeah.
German film or something.
Well, I mean, the thing for me too, like I would like to see just what I take as from the Jesus character is that he's much like many figures in history, where he's just a guy that challenged the status quo and got murdered for it. Because,
Yeah.
well, we see that every 100 or so years is that happens, and like I would love to see that movie.
I don't know, probably like
Where-
every 30 years.
Yeah, where it's not like, it's not Jesus as divine, but Jesus as a revolutionary, which is what Jesus would have been, was a revolutionary. Like, I would love to see that. Like, Jesus, like,
Yeah.
hey, fuck the government, love each other. And then the government's like, fuck you, Jesus, murder you.
Yeah.
But hey, you did some fucking sleight of hand in one of your fucking
That could be the
drunken
name of the movie.
escapades.
Fuck you, Jesus.
Yeah. And now we have some stories that that can make people think you're divine. So
I
we're
mean,
gonna write
it could
this
even
book.
set it up as with a more modern parallel of having, even with the Judas and Jesus like narrative of kind of like a Martin Luther King, Malcolm X thing, where
Yeah,
one
yeah.
is like
Right.
all for the violence and one's all
Yeah.
about peace and love. You know.
There's so much to the character once you take it outside of like actual like fucking literal interpretation of this book that who knows how
It's
many
not
hands
interesting.
have been, well, who knows how many hands have been in this book?
Yeah.
Because the book was written several hundred years after the fact.
Yeah.
Red flag number one. Anywho,
Surely it's accurate.
yeah, 100%, word of God and all that. But yeah. So it's an interesting film. I think it's worthwhile. There could be more films, but again, we live in a predominantly monotheistic religious world, so those films are gonna be hard to make, and they never hit the big screen.
Yeah.
Ever. So films we want could maybe be on the horizon in the future. Maybe they exist, but they're not going to be in your local movie theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, though, I think it's a worthwhile film to watch for sure. Yeah.
We ready to put a bow on the Last Temptation of
Got a
Christ?
bow on it.
Yeah. I highly recommend it. If it sounds like it's for you, if it doesn't sound like it's for you, it's probably not. So
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's worthwhile.
yeah.
All right. So just a couple more things we need to close out here. Reese, go ahead and tell us what should we go to the theater to
In the
see?
theaters. There's actually some decent options this week.
You got the Godzilla thing, right?
Yep,
in there.
Godzilla -1 is playing. I assume it's playing both dubbed and subbed. With live action, I always prefer subtitles, but I don't know. We might not have an option in Warsaw. New releases, Dream Scenario, the new Nicolas Cage movie. Are you guys familiar with that one?
No.
No.
It's a A24 like comedy drama. Nicolas Cage's character is like starting to appear in like hundreds of people's dreams all across the world, and he becomes like some weird pseudo celebrity because of it.
Tell you what I do know about it. It'll be on Max before you can
Max.
blink.
But that came to Warsaw surprisingly. It's A24. It looks good. Looks like Elf is coming back because new good Christmas movies don't exist. And then you can still see Napoleon, the new Hunger Games, the Marvels, Five Nights at Freddy's. It quickly goes down in quality.
Yeah, I would say so.
Thanksgiving, Trolls 3, Wish, oofta. Yeah, but there, especially if you live in bigger cities, you still have access to stuff like, Killers of the Flower Moon,
Yeah,
The Holdovers.
Yeah, definitely see those.
Saltburn. Highly recommend Saltburn.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, there's a new movie from I think Todd Haynes. I'm sure you guys have seen movies from him. It's a Netflix movie called May December. It's
Okay.
Natalie Portman and another actress.
Okay.
But it looks really
Natalie
good.
Portman. I'm in.
I love Natalie Portman, and I love our other actress.
What's the redhead? She's in Boogie Nights.
Julianne
Moore. Yeah,
Julianne.
Julianne Moore
okay.
and Natalie Portman.
Okay. All right.
I like Julianne Moore actually. She's
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
sounds
that looks
good.
really good. Yeah, so
She's somewhere in my actress like power rankings right now.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
a top 10.
that's on Netflix now. So
Sweet.
give that a watch,
And-
but go to the theater.
Follow the House of Usher too.
Oh yeah,
If you haven't
Yeah.
seen that, watch that.
I don't know. Maybe this week you could skip the thing. No, go to see a movie in theaters and then go to Netflix.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get on that one.
All right.
All right, so that so next episode will be episode 17.
Yeah, we gotta do the
And we're going to keep the Christmas theme going. This wasn't really a Christmas movie. This next one really isn't either. But that's my pick. And we are going to be watching Love Actually.
Oh, what the hell?
It's a movie that Reese doesn't like, but I don't care. It's directed by Richard Curtis and stars such people as Hugh Grant, Alan Rickman, Bill Nighy, Colin Firth, Emma Thompson, Laura Linney, Liam Neeson, Andrew Lincoln, Keira Knightley. It's got a bunch of people in it, most of them British.
Alan Rickman and Bill Nighy definitely sell it for me. But
Bill Nighy is amazing in this movie. He's fucking hilarious. So we're going to have some fun. Reese is going to be bitter about it, but it's fine. He'll have a good time watching the movie.
it looks like it's currently on Netflix, but it's got a little clock next to it, so I guess it's leaving Netflix soon.
Ooh.
And then it looks like it might also be on AMC Plus. And I think it's actually back in theaters in select cities, so
All right.
maybe catch that.
Interesting. All right. Sounds good.
And that'll be the
Join us,
last episode of the year, right?
It should be,
Yeah.
yes.
So I was just attempting to check on my phone, but I can't find my
Yeah,
calendar.
it would be the 20th.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
that would be the last one.
Yeah. And then after that, it's my pick.
So
Start the
maybe
year anew.
next week or the week
That'd be
after,
his
should
pick.
we do like some
Oh, his
top
pick,
top
yeah.
10 lists?
Huh?
Should we do some top 10 lists next episode
Some top 10 lists?
for the year?
For the year of just
Okay,
films we've seen.
Films we've seen. I
Okay.
like to do my top 10 favorite movies of the year and then top 10 movies
I
saw
haven't
for
seen
the
enough of
first
them to
time.
make a top 10
Sure.
list.
You've seen more than you think.
I might do a top 10 list of the top 10 films discussed on the podcast.
Okay.
be fun.
Not just like features.
Yeah, we
but
could all do different top 10s, whatever kind of
Yeah,
top 10
sure.
you want.
We'll do a top. Yeah. We'll do a top.
Bottom 10.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't need to go over that.
Top 10. We will do top 10s.
All
Top
right.
10s. And
Stay
Love
tuned.
Actually.
Next time.
All right. Peace out, everyone.
Awesome. Bye.